What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week we all know the situation. The media is still spreading their lies. Trying to call Biden president-elect, which he's not. He is not one. We still have a lot of courts to go through. And in the end, even if it gets to the Supreme Court, Trump will win anyway because he actually won. We all know that, there was election fraud, even including the Democrats know they cheated. So, anyways, it'll all come out in the end. Moving on. Main thing I want to talk about is, we have some, not necessarily remakes, maybe reboots, whatever you want to call them. A lot of rumors have been coming out lately. I did see one trailer for the new Tom and Jerry live action so-called version. It's basically like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Looney, what was that, Space Jam or whatever. It's in a similar situation, but it looks like crap. It looks terrible. And I love Tom and Jerry, but this looks ridiculous. I also heard that they just came out with a new version of Animaniacs. Now, I never was a big fan of the show. I didn't think it was funny. But there's a lot of people who did like the show. Although I am told this new version completely sucks. It literally has nothing to do with the older version whatsoever. They went and changed all the characters and everything. So it's pretty woke. And it's terrible from what I understand. I don't know, I haven't watched it. Those are just the rumors. I wouldn't watch it anyway. I'm not a fan. The last one that I saw is the rumor that they're also getting ready to do a live action version of the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers cartoon back in the 90s. I liked this cartoon too back in the day, but I don't know what they did with the Tom and Jerry thing. It's got me worried. I bet it looks just as bad, if not worse. Hollywood can't do anything original anymore, and they're literally destroying all the classics. It's not going to change until they actually get some decent writers in Hollywood. You got too many woke, retarded writers, hacks that don't know what they're doing. They just keep rehashing crap and trying to change it to fit their agenda, and it just doesn't work. The last reboot I want to talk about isn't a cartoon. It's I heard rumors that they already started filming for a new Fantastic Four. Now, I don't care what anybody says. The movies from 2004 or whatever, those were good movies. The Rise of the Silver Surfer, after that, it was a really good movie too. I don't know why they didn't just continue with that. They're dumb. Instead, they decided to reboot it, and it went to shit. They couldn't even stick with the main story, the origin story and crap. They went off the rails. It was just a dumb idea, and it didn't work. They started doing the whole gender swap thing too, and that didn't work. So I don't know. I'm very skeptical about them doing another Fantastic Four. Their track record in Hollywood hasn't been real good, especially with Marvel and Disney. We'll see. So this week, the main thing I want to get to is I just got done playing the retro game called Breath of Fire 3. Now I know there are some of you out there who are like big fans of this franchise, the Breath of Fire franchise. However, I kind of had a problem with the game. I didn't really care for it all that much, and I'll explain why. The story wasn't really the problem. The story was fine. What I had a problem with is the gameplay. Number one, I didn't like the fact that you had to have like teachers to teach you skills or certain abilities or whatever. You know, that was dumb and retarded. I don't have a problem with learning skills and abilities in a particular game. Final Fantasy does this quite a bit throughout their game series. But you put the skill on a person and they learn it and then they're done with it. In this one, you have to like attach a teacher to one of your characters, and it screws with your stats, so you can't level up correctly. You get some major minuses on certain stats, and you get certain pluses on certain stats depending on which teacher you're learning from. And certain characters are better off only learning certain abilities from another teacher. The other thing is only one or two of the characters can learn that ability. You can't have every character learn the same abilities. It doesn't work that way. Only one character can naturally learn the ability, like after they're leveling up. They each have certain natural abilities they learn, which is good. But the whole thing with the teacher, you know, you can't. Only one other character can learn that particular ability through a teacher. You can't have multiples, and you have to have this stupid skill book where you take or notebook or whatever, where you can take the skill and put it on somebody else, but it costs you skill points or ink points. You got to find ink in order to do it. Now here's the problem I had with that. I don't know why certain retro RPG games have to have a stupid little fishing game in them. I think it's retarded. I hate the fishing games. Anyways, in this particular game, you have a fishing game, and the only reason I played the fishing game, the only reason, is because it said that you get to the master fisherman, you get the highest score in fishing. You get certain points for each fish you catch, but it has to be the biggest fish or you don't get those points. In other words, if you catch a fish that's like 100 points, you get those points, and that's the biggest fish that you can catch out of that particular fish, like jellyfish or something like that. There's several different kinds of fish. But you have to collect the biggest fish, or catch the biggest fish, to get the max points. And then you have to build up them points for every particular type of fish you get in order to max out your points for fishing, period, all over, or general fishing. Now the only reason to do this is because supposedly it gives you a fountain pen that allows you to ignore the ink, trying to collect ink to trade off your skills, and you can use the fountain pen and just automatically do it. You don't need to find ink. This is annoying. But I went through and I played it for hours, that stupid fishing crap. You can only find certain fish in certain ponds and crap like that, or fishing areas. I did this for hours, trying to get the biggest fish so I can get the max points so I can get that fountain pen. I got the maximum amount of points you can get. I got every big fish you could get. However, what they don't tell you is that you have to restart the game, finish out the game, and then restart it to be able to get the fountain pen. So you have to start a whole new game after you've already beaten the game to get it. You don't get it after you get all the points. So it's retarded. There's no point in getting it. I was pretty pissed off when I found out that. Anyways, I gave up on that. And then I started trying to finish out the game. But this time I already spent hours on the game. And the story was kind of boring and lame. And I went through it pretty fast. Because it sucked after that. I didn't care for the game after that. I was real disappointed. I will not be playing any more of the Breath of Fire franchise. I didn't care for it. It kind of sucks for a retro game. And I like the retro RPGs. But this one sucked. It's terrible. And that's all I have to say on that. 2 thumbs down. This game sucked. It was bad. I didn't even use the dragon abilities. I just used the regular abilities. I didn't even use the dragon abilities. They're a waste of MP. There's no point in using them. Trying to find out certain combos that work together is just dumb. That's a terrible thing. It wasn't good. Alright, let's move on to your B-movie review. Alright, movie holics, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Sci-Fi Week. We got 2 post-apocalyptic sci-fi movies to go over and review this week. Both movies star Sendel Bergman. She was a B-movie actress in the 80s. She's most known for her role in Conan as Valerie. The first one we're going to go over was done in 1984, and it's called She, S-H-E. I'd heard about this movie, and I'd seen clips on this movie quite a bit, but I never did take the time to ever watch this movie. I just heard it was really B-rated and cheesy, and after watching it, I can say it was pretty cheesy. However, it was a good cheese. You know, you just have those movies from the 80s that were cheesy but really good. The story is basically she plays a woman who's kind of like a queen or whatever, over some Amazon type women. You know, they dominate men, that kind of thing. They call her She because she goes around acting like this goddess called She or whatever. They treat her like some type of goddess or whatever, even though they know she's not a goddess. Uh, Basically, she's just their queen of an Amazon tribe. Anyways, she gets involved with these two brothers who are basically looking for their sister. At the very beginning of the movie, they come to sell some goods outside this town or whatever, and this gang from like New York, which they call themselves Norks. They basically run in there, you know, and they got swastikas all over their gear and crap, like football. Yeah, not necessarily football helmets, but like the gear for football and stuff. You know, they're wearing them. They got swastikas all over them. Anyway, this gang called the Norks, who are from New York, they come in to the area where all these vendors are selling stuff, including the brothers and their sister. They kidnap the sister and take off with her, and they beat up the brothers. They don't kill them for some reason. They kill several other people, but they don't kill them. They just beat the crap out of them. So they eventually run into She's territory, which she's got her own little Amazon gang kind of. But anyways, they run into her territory and they get captured, and then they get out of there. They get their freedom or whatever. They break free. She decides to follow him because she likes the big tall blonde guy. Even though her second in command doesn't like the other brother, eventually, you know, they kind of get with each other too. But anyways, they're following him around. She wants to see where they go. They run into another type of weird cultist gang of mutants, and they almost get killed by them, but they get away from there. She lets them go again and decides to follow them again. They catch up to him at, I don't know, I'm not sure what you would call them. They look like normal humans, but then at night they turn into like these, I don't know, like almost vampiric type mutants or creatures. They get them out of there. They escape from there. And then the next thing they do is they run into some old guy who's into doing experiments on people. He's using gas to knock them out and everything. They go through that. They get out of there. They escape that. Then they run into another cult, another gang or cult or whatever you want to call them, who worship this guy as a god because he's got like some type of telekinetic powers. One of his own servants turn on him because he likes she. So one of his servants, who's a woman, turns on him, kills him. He ends up killing her in the same process. They are able to escape from there after that. And then they run into the Norks. The Norks threaten to destroy her territory and her people. So she decides to stay behind, and because she knows she wouldn't be able to warn her people in time. So she starts building up like a defense outside of the Nork territory. Of course, the brothers decide to stay and help her, and so does the sister. You know, they get the sister out of there from the Norks and stuff. They have this, I'm not even sure you would call it a battle, because they got to go over this stupid bridge to do it. So they just fend off this bridge while the rest of the area outside this wall of the city of New York, or the Newark City or whatever, is covered with mines. The only passable area is the bridge and the path that leads from it. So they defend the bridge, kill a bunch of the Norks, and that's pretty much the end. You know, the Norks don't get to invade their territory, and everyone goes back to where they were, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. Although at the very end, it's kind of strange. You would think that, you know, her and the male lead would get together, but that's not what happens. Now the little brother, he stays behind with the second in command, but the main brother, he leaves with his sister, and then she's left alone. So it's kind of that kind of part of the ending was kind of dumb, but otherwise, you know, the movie was cheesy. It was cheesy as all get out. The story was average. I give it a 3. The acting, you know, wasn't really that bad. You know, it was decent acting, so I give it a 3 too. But of course, you know, special effects, there really wasn't a whole lot of special effects, you know. Not really crazy or anything. They were decent for what it was. I give it a 3. Overall, the movie, it gets a 3. It's 3 across the board. It was decent. It was alright. It was cheesy, but it was a good cheesy, you know. It was watchable. I definitely, you know, I kind of like the fact that, you know, it reminded me, you know, of the 80s classic Warriors, where they keep running across these weird ass gangs. I like that about it. That was really cool. I wish they'd do more movies kind of similar to that, but you only see it 2 or 3 movies like that, where the group keeps running across all these different types of gangs and have to try to figure a way to get away from them. I wish they'd do something else like that, but they don't. But it's a really good movie. I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. I recommend it. Check it out if you like 80s cheese. It was pretty good. Not bad. Now, the next one we're moving on to, might have heard of. It was pretty cheesy too. I knew it was going to be cheesy. I'd heard of it. Never did get around to watching it because I knew it was going to be cheesy as hell. But to be honest, it's another one of those good cheese that I just never sat down to watch. It was done in 1988, and it's called Hell Comes to Frogtown. Now this stars Roddy Rod Piper, and of course, again, the leading lady is Sandra Bergman. Now, I knew Roddy had done a few movies back in the day. They Live is, you know, a huge classic. I love that movie. It was a little cheesy too, but it was good. This movie here, basically the story is, you know, of course, you know, you had the World War III or whatever, post-apocalyptic. Most of the human population is gone. You have mutants that have sprung up that are like frog-like, amphibian-looking creatures. Yeah, they were cheesy looking, but still. Anyways, humans and the mutants don't get along too well. They tolerate each other, and that's about it. But sometimes they don't get along at all. Humans want to enslave them, they want to enslave humans. That back and forth, that kind of thing. The other factor is you have a new government called MedTech, and it's ran by women. And the reason why the new government is ran by women is because There's not a whole lot of men left in the world, especially men who can impregnate women. And there's not a lot of women who are fertile, who can be impregnated. So they basically kidnap Roddy Piper because they had heard that he gets around, and every time he gets around, he impregnates somebody. So they grab him. They put like a chastity, kind of like a chastity belt on him, electronic one, claiming that they own him now, that kind of thing. They make him sign a contract that he's supposed to go help them get. I think there's like 6 of them. There's 6 women that the frog mutants have captured. They're trying to bribe, whatever, get something out of selling them off. They want him to help them go in there and get them out and then impregnate them. But anyways, that's the story. They eventually do get him out of there. I don't know. They don't really run into a lot of problems. There is one guy who's like a military type guy. He kind of runs a little different of a sector than the MedTech Corporation. Or government. He's a kind of different type of government. He doesn't like Roddy Piper. He wants to take him out. So he kind of have an arch nemesis that is constantly trying to kill him throughout the movie. They have to deal with the mutants. They get the women out, and everything's hunky-dory by the end of the movie. And Roddy Piper and Sendril, they get together at the end. Her character. It's cheesy, but it's funny. It's got some action in it. It's worth watching, just one time. As far as the story-wise go, the story is okay. I get it. I get why it's funny. I give it a 3. The acting, again, the acting's decent. I give it a 3. Sci-fi, I don't know about that. The sci-fi, or not sci-fi, but the special effects were pretty cheesy. The frog suits were pretty lame looking. I give them a 2. It was more like a puppeteer kind of thing. Overall, the story, the movie, it was decent. I give it a 3. It's watchable. It's a good cheesy. It wasn't horrible. It was good, actually. Pretty funny. I give it 2 thumbs up. I definitely recommend it. Check it out if you want some 80s cheese. Good movie. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Check in next time. I have a couple more to review for you. If you know of any gems I might have missed, I may never have heard of or watched, please leave your suggestions down in the comments down below, and I'll try to get around to them whenever I can to reviewing them. If you have any thoughts of what whatever your thoughts are about anything I've said earlier in the video, please leave your opinions down in the comment section down below. Let me hear from you. And that's all I have for you. Until next week, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.